You're watching Amador County's local television network, TSPN. And now, TSPN News with Tom Slavik. Comprehensive news because in today's world, you need more than just sound bites. TSPN, streaming on the World Wide Web, and now on demand at TSPNTV.com. Hi everyone, I'm Tom Slavik and welcome to TSPN's News for today. And today we're going to be talking with Supervisor Richard Forstor, and he's going to be going over the pre-agenda report, and the agenda is going to be happening tomorrow. So we're going to find out about it today, and we'll do that right after this break. So stay with us here on TSPN. Waste Tire Amnesty event is coming. Welcome back, everyone, and I'm with Richard Forstor. And we usually shake hands, but Richard's been kind to me. He says, I have a cold. I don't think I want you to catch it, Tom. So go ahead, Richard, and talk to us.
First off, I'm going to use public matters not on the agenda, and I'm going to say something at our meeting tomorrow too, on Tuesday. But there was a recent letter to the editor in the newspaper regarding how Supervisor and Chairman of the Board Ted Novelli handled the discussion on the Newman Ridge issue that came up at our last meeting. Basically, it made it sound like he persecuted one of the people that was testifying and cut them off flat and did not give them any more than 3 minutes. I'm going to verify this by listening to the recording myself, but it appears that Ted gave her as much as 15 minutes, and this is the main proponent, Sandra Westmore, for the group, but it appeared he gave her as much as 15 minutes. And I got to tell you, he was very gentlemanly. He was very professional in trying to handle this. That's the job of the chairperson, to handle the meeting, to make sure it runs correctly, and to keep control of the meeting. You don't let the person at the podium take control of the meeting, and unfortunately that's what she attempted to do in that meeting. She did turn around twice and ask for people to give her time. Chairman Novelli had already said he wasn't going to allow that. If other people wanted to talk, they could talk. And he wanted to keep the issue confined to the transportation and circulation portion of the EIR that was being recirculated. So while the letter to the editor made it sound like he persecuted her, I can turn it around just as quickly and say that people, when they speak to the board, they should be professional. They should adhere to what the chair says. That doesn't mean you can't question, but you know there's a line in the sand that you don't cross, and I think clearly in that meeting the speaker crossed the line in the sand and attempted to make a mockery of the whole process. Okay, now when you said that you like to go back maybe and listen to the time, I think what you're referring to, and I've told, I think I usually end our newscast with saying that your meeting is recorded. Basically, I just say, you know, you can go to the meeting because it's streaming, but they also record that. So if anybody has any questions of even your veracity right now, you know, it's there. You can listen to it and, you know, judge for yourself. So, you know, you can sit in the room, be your own reporter if you would. That's a better way to find out. Any one of the websites, you can pull the Amador County website up. You can go to our Board of Supervisors area. We have all of the minutes and things there, but according to our board clerk, the recording is there if you want to listen to the meeting. Okay. So, anyway, just trying to make that clear. I'll tell you the truth, I would have done the same thing if I was the chair, because you don't let it become a fiasco. Just quickly, before we get into the main body of the agenda, there are 2 items on the consent agenda that people may look at and say, what's that, $50,000? Well, first one is, it's the first item up, 1A, is under waste management, but Jim McCargue, who is in our public works department or our community development department, he handles all of the waste issues. Very good at what he does. Previously, Mike Boitano, our ag commissioner, was the air pollution control officer. Mike retired. You can go out and hire another air pollution control officer, but things are pretty slow in the county. We're looking at the budget of the air pollution control district. Mr. McCargue was interviewed and hired for that position also, so he'll be performing the waste management duties as well as the air pollution control officer duties. He won't be doing it without training. He's got to go through some extensive training, but it is an additional $50,000 that will be added to the waste management line item in our budget. And if anybody's interested in property in Amador County, the Treasurer Tax Collector, it has a resolution that we're approving tomorrow for sale of tax defaulted property. So I think you can go on his website, on the county website, to his area too, but if not, call Mike Ryan directly. He's our Treasurer Tax Collector, and he can let you know what's for sale out there.
Okay, so I'm not sure, where do they go for that? It used to be a stand almost at the courthouse, the old courthouse.
I believe
auction that.
I believe they're still held at the courthouse, but
okay. All right.
I'm not speaking out of knowledge. I'm just speaking out of where it was customarily held in the past.
I believe I've seen it fairly recently there, but find out exactly where that is, because you can pick up some good properties at good prices.
Right. And with that, we'll go into the agenda. We have the Economic Development Corporation coming in. Jim Conklin is the executive director of that, of what they're calling the Economic Development Partnership. Now, they're trying to get groups to come in to do some studies. I believe Jim Gillette, who's the president of the Amador Economic Development Corporation, will be there on Tuesday. What they want is the Board of Supervisors to put $10,000 in to help in the appraisal or analysis of our system in the county, our development system, our roads. This analysis would basically tell you what makes sense and what doesn't make sense. The person that they've got slated to perform this is Dr. Robert Fountain, and he's has a PhD in urban land economics, finance, and urban planning from UCLA. And I believe now he operates out of the Bay Area, that's out of the Benicia area. But he would be the one performing this study. As it's set up, this would fund the purchase of a computer model, collection of data, and calibration of a model, an IM plan, which would help tabulate all this information and tell you where your money is best spent, I believe, is the intent of this in the county. There would be interim reports that he would give, and as well as a draft report at the end, and the Economic Development Corporation would be able to have this all on their computer site at the end.
Richard, what will be put in the model? What will the model break things out as? Is this for transportation or business? I'm not sure if I understand the end use of the information.
The goals are an economic analysis of the overall structure of the local economy, so they're looking at business, a quantification of the transportation sector of Amador County. So yes, it is looking at we're going to put your money into the system, where is it best to be spent? And they're looking at this basically because of partly why ACTC is going through the plan right now of planning where the money is going to go in the future. Should all of the money from the county, the regional money that we get, go into a pot and be used that way? Right now, the county and the city all throw their money in together. That's what helped build the Sutter Creek bypass. That's what's helping to facilitate the improvements in the Pine Grove area. Do we need all of those improvements? That's another question. Also, this would have an analysis which would identify opportunities for economic development in Amador County, an analysis of hypothetical development scenarios, and it would create a preliminary process for looking at transportation benefits that have been computed by Caltrans. So it's a lot of work here. $10,000, I don't know if that's going to cover the whole amount. Those questions will come up tomorrow too. Should our Board of Supervisors be funding this? That question is going to come up. I'm very positive, or very sure it will come up, because it has in the past. But Amador Economic Development Corporation is a good group of businesses. In our agenda packet, they have the members that are part of that group right now, and they're looking for help. They're looking for a partnership by the county to be part of the group that goes out and does this study.
All right.
All right. That's a lot there. But next one, I think I'm going to leave for the next segment, the waters of the U.S., but we'll go ahead and cover some of these others. Very quickly, we have a resolution on our agenda to appoint our Ag Commissioner and Sealer of Weights and Measures. Patricia Lesky has been appointed as the Ag Commissioner, but you need to actually appoint that position through a resolution, not just the Commissioner, but the Sealer of Weights and Measures. So we do have a resolution in our packet that will make that happen.
And that's because that position has the two roles to do there, right?
That's correct. And Mike Moitano formerly held that position. Right. We decided not to wait and to segregate that position out of the Ag Department and put it with our Waste Management Department. So Patricia Lesky she'll get the official appointment. She's already been given the blessing from our board to be the Ag Commissioner, so I don't see any reason why this wouldn't pass tomorrow effectively. A big item I know for people, especially in Jackson, but the whole county, is people did not want the old courthouse up on Court Street torn down. A lot of people look at it as a historic structure. Parts of it are, parts of it aren't. There's a lot of uses that could happen there. Are there Indian artifacts on site? I've been told even if there are, if any digging occurs and you run into that, you can deal with those. You just have to notify the proper departments in the state. But the county did list that property. We had a minimum bid price of $350,000, and there was one successful bidder on that. So the recommendation tomorrow on Tuesday is to award the bid to RTR Investments. They're going to have a DBA of Court Street Place. So I don't know what they're going to turn that into.
Court Street Place.
Court Street Place. We're going to authorize the preparation of the escrow documents and the closing documents by Caldwell Banker Award Realtors, who was hired by the county after an interview process to do the marketing. And all of this will happen with approval of a resolution.
Okay, we're going to take this opportunity to take a break, and we'll be right back with Supervisor Richard Forstor.
You're watching Amador County's local television.
Hi everyone, and welcome back. We're doing the pre-agenda report for tomorrow with Supervisor Richard Forstor. Go ahead, take it away.
Okay, there's back to that item of the sale of the old courthouse properties, and I say properties plural because there's 108 Court Street, there's 42 Summit, which is 1.76 acre parcel there. That's the largest parcel where the parking lot is. And that butts up to 204 Court Street, so then you have 208, 214.
That's where the two buildings are. I think one of them used to be used as probation a long time ago, and that, right?
That's right. And then 229 Water Street is all the way down to Water Street, but it's going to need some work. And people might say, you're going to sell all that property for $350,000. Well, there's significant cost to the county with holding that piece of property now. It would cost us a lot more money to renovate that property and get it up to some use. What use? I don't know, because for us it wasn't ADA compliant. That's why we went out of that property in the first place. Right. But there's a lot of property there. Somebody with a vision can go in there and do something good, and hopefully the people that are interested in it have that vision and can go in and do that. Just
a little curious, did the city of Jackson at all talk to the board members or anything about the properties?
I don't know what City of Jackson is doing, but they at one point they were interested in it, but they're in the same catch-22 as the county. And we're not a land developer. We're not a builder per se. I mean, we have some county buildings out there, but we're not developers. We are not in the business of making that happen.
Okay.
And it takes a lot of money and vision and knowledge to do that. And the county is not in that position. And I think we look at this as a liability. Somebody else is going to look at it possibly as
an asset.
As an asset out there. So.
All right.
A big item that's going to come up tomorrow, and this has gone through National Association of Counties, California State Association of Counties, and Regional Council, or what used to be Regional Council, Rural County Representatives of California, but the waters of the United States.
Let me remind people that we're doing this for last, but this is not last on the agenda.
That's right.
All right. So
I just did this last because it's going to take some time, but the waters of the United States. And you might say, why are they waters of the United States? Well, the Environmental Protection Agency has domain over certain certain bodies of water in the country.
I believe back in the old days it used to be considered navigable waters.
Yeah, that's correct.
Okay.
Mostly it's called navigable waters.
All right.
But what's happened here is the EPA has language that they've never really rested on or relied on to tell them what are the navigable waters. Well, they've expanded that language now, and they're interpreting it differently than they ever have before. So basically what it's going to mean that if there's a puddle of water alongside the road, that is in their domain. If this passes, that will be in their domain. What that means for us is, even with a county, it could be significant cost to our county and others, because you wouldn't even be able to go out and do routine road work, maintenance, without getting the proper permits. And those permits are very expensive, and I'll go through some of that. The changes to what their definition of waters of the U.S. are would trigger new unfunded mandates to local governments. Those unfunded mandates, as I said, under the Clean Water Act, they're very specific now. This would basically open up Pandora's box. They want to have control over everything. The proposed rule would hinder the ability of counties to manage public infrastructure systems and impact public safety, as I said. Specifically, the permits that might be and probably would be required if this passes are a Section 404 permit, which it changes the whole ballgame as far as what routine maintenance would be. If you had to go through the process to get a 404 permit from the Corps of Engineers, and by the way, the Corps of Engineers are riding on the coattails of the EPA and saying that, yes, this is a good idea.
Who's then, if they want to claim, in a sense, these the waters, are they liable for what happens on these waters?
Absolutely not.
It's because of the federal government. There's no liability involved.
It would open up the liability for counties significantly, for local jurisdiction, counties and cities. Remember, this is not just a few people opposing this. You have the National Association of Counties that is opposed to this, and still the EPA is pushing. And really, something that really irks us all is they have engaged in a PR campaign with media to try and push this off to the side and say it's no big deal. As you know, the administration is very friendly, and the media is very friendly with the administration. They've tried to take this thing and just say it's no big deal. It is a big deal.
It's a very big deal to change something from navigable, which used to mean be able to have a boat on it, and something larger than, a rowboat. We're not, basically, I believe it was, a ship like for transportation. It would be like taking a path, a path that you walked on, and now all of a sudden making the same as a freeway,
right,
where you have like large trucks, where that was the concept of mass transportation. I'm just trying to put it in a way that some people might be able to understand it.
Yeah, the President, though, has already indicated, the House has indicated they do have already legislation to stop this from happening. The President has already indicated he will veto that legislation. Right. So I think we know where he stands on this issue with the EPA, and he wants to give them broad-based powers out there to regulate any waters in the country. And that includes, and people might think I'm crazy on this, but it does include anything from a navigable water to a puddle. The other thing,
it's kind of interesting. This is I'm going on. I can tell that you're somewhat. I can remember back, in Sutter Creek, somehow there was an idea that grew out of that, where all of the the waterways, the water courses would be walkable paths for everybody.
Right.
And it kind of fell dead when people said, well, okay, so if you're in my backyard, and you're walking up this, because I do have like gutters in the, but there's a lot of water, and when it rains and somebody hurts themselves, then who's liable? Is it me because it's on my property, or is it you who give people permission to do that?
Yeah. Those Section 404 permits they would be required for now routine maintenance. Also, the rule needs to clarify the impacts on the MS4 permits. Those MS4 permits are municipal separate stormwater sewer systems programs. So there's no clarification on that, and that's one of our biggest concerns is that they have studies that they've done or that are in process. They're trying to promote this rule and pass it before there's an analysis and a reasonable comment period by local and state governmental partners. And that draft science report is called Connectivity of Streams and Wetlands to Downstream Waters, a review and synthesis of the scientific evidence. So
basically what we're almost talking about a control from the raindrop to, when the rain falls,
right,
until it gets back, I guess, into the ocean or something, and the federal government somehow being in control of all of this.
But as our lobbyist said from RCRC, moving forward with a proposed rule before the science report is finalized is bad public policy and premature at best. And it is. You don't make a rule before your scientific report is released and everyone has a chance to comment on it. What they're trying to do is get ahead of all of the comments and just go ahead and approve it and say nobody's going to think twice about it. What the EPA is going to get over this is massive litigation if they continue in this process. And by the way, EPA has the states to deal with also. There are many states that are not going to sit by and let this go. It'll be counties, states, associations of counties that are going to oppose this en masse. All right. Well, with that, we're going to leave. And thanks a lot, Richard, for giving the report. If you're interested, once again, make it down to the Board of Supervisors tomorrow, and you can listen to them on their website as well if you can't make it. I'm Tom Slavic. Thanks for watching today's news. We'll see you again next time.
You're watching Amador County's local television network, TSPN.
You are invited to attend the 2014 Women's Conference in El Dorado Hills, California, October 24th and 25th. 6 powerful speakers to enhance your walk, strengthen your faith, and empower your life. Conference to be held at the Holiday Inn Express in El Dorado Hills. Sponsored by Life Application Ministries, a local nonprofit organization. The time is Friday, 6:30 to 9:30 p.m., Saturday, 8:30 to 5:30 p.m. Free tote bags, free autographed book by Linda called What Was I Thinking, handouts and door prizes included in registration. Tickets are $15. Register online at www.lifeapplicationministries.org or call 530-620-4641.
State Farm, this is Jessica.
Hey, Jessica, it's Jerry Newman.
Jerry, how are you doing?
Fine, I just got a little fender bender. You know, it's funny, it only took 15 minutes to sign up with that new auto insurance company, but it's taken a lot longer to hear back.
Oh, Jerry, I'm so sorry. I would love to help, but remember you dropped us last month.
I miss you, Jessica.
Jerry, are you crying?
No, I bit my tongue.
Come see me, Ann Lynch in Jackson.
Come see me, Diane Witt in Sutter Creek.
Get to a better state. State Farm.
Mark your calendars for Saturday night, October 25th at 6:30 p.m. Hospice of Amador and Calaveras is presenting their 2nd annual Calaveras Live fundraiser at the Black Bart Playhouse in Murphys. The evening includes a wine reception, fine antiques auction, raffle, and memorial tribute video. This late-night venue is a unique night of entertainment, including Todd Paul, Grover Anderson, Mark Dyken, Plan B Band, and more. Tickets are $45, $50 at the door. Event details, tickets, and to include your loved one in the memorial video, call Hospice at 223-5500 or go online at www.hospiceofamador.org. Calaveras Live fundraiser at the Black Bart Playhouse in Murphys. You've come to TSPN-TV's YouTube channel. To find the video you're looking for, choose the show's playlist below and look for the specific video. It's easy. It's TSPN-TV, Amador County's local television network on YouTube.
All right.
Football season's now underway. All the snaps, the hits, highlight reel touchdowns, and Jackson Rancheria's Pick the Winners promotion. Compete for your share of $400,000. First place at season's end will take home $25,000 in cash. It's time to score Rancheria style.
Yeah! Got your dream in Jackson.